What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm actually going to be discussing the film that I recently saw, which was Fantastic Beasts Part 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And before I get into anything, I just want to let you guys know that there will be some spoilers, so if you have not seen the film, you have been warned. But anyway, let's jump right into it. Fantastic Beasts as a series so far, it's extremely kind of skewed. It's a big margin, because coming off of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, where there was 8+ sequels, I could be wrong, I don't know. But anyway, there's been a lot of Harry Potter films, and they were very enjoyable. As a person who really was just a casual fan and a fan of the films, really, and had no depth of the books or the vast details that are in the books and the mythology and everything, I enjoyed them. But when I first saw the original Fantastic Beasts film, with Newt and being introduced to all these characters and everything, I actually really enjoyed it, and a little bit more so because, I don't know if it's kind of an unfair thing, but with these films, with how far we've come with special effects, with all the different actors and kind of the different things, I mean, the namesake, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, lends itself to a lot more spectacle, because you're not just like Harry Potter, where you're stuck in a school for the majority of the films, and you're not really going and doing anything else except for exploring all the wings of the Hogwarts school, or you're just going on the train and doing this and doing that and going to die. I mean, they did go to different locales and locations, but I feel like I get a lot more out of these films, the Fantastic Beasts films so far, because they lend themselves to be more vast. They actually get you outside of the Hogwarts school and into the real world of wizarding and everything, and I liked how they did it in America, and then they had like the kind of the all the different Ministry of Magic people and the different, again, beasts, the Fantastic Beasts and stuff. All the selling points of the films I really find more enjoyable. Plus, with all the effects and everything, we get to see much more crisp action, and these details and everything visually and aesthetically are just a lot more. I can't get over how great they look. Plus, the first film had kind of the opportunity where, as a story, they didn't really have a solid foundation, other than from what I recall, and I could be wrong here, so please correct me down in the comments for all you Potterheads. They really didn't have a series of books, except for a book within a book, and then the Fantastic Beasts kind of like story itself was fleshed out a little bit more later on, but they really didn't have a huge Harry Potter-esque type of thing to work off of, so they really took the film and kind of developed Newt and all the characters a little bit more. Plus, it was removed from Harry Potter. It was in the past. This is way before Voldemort. This is way before Harry himself and all that other stuff, and even before Harry's parents and whatnot. So I really found it interesting to kind of take a story, focus it on something other than Harry Potter and everything, which we had gotten kind of almost fatigued. At least I did a little bit. And that's not taking anything away from the movies. Eddie Redmayne, I like him as Newt Scamander. Kowalski, played by that guy from Balls of Fury. He's awesome. Tina, Queenie, she reminds me of actually Harley Quinn a little bit, which is kind of funny. Every time that she would talk and do stuff, I would turn to my friend in the theater and be like, she's totally Harley Quinn. She's more Harley Quinn than Margot Robbie. But so, with this film, what they did again, like in the first film, was they took it to different places. They had you following Newt as he's trying to find these other Fantastic Beasts, although it was downplayed a lot more in this film, because there really wasn't a hunt to find animals so much as there was to really find Credence, actually, who, if you didn't know, as spoilers, is actually alive, and he survived the experience he had where everyone thought he was killed. So when I watched the film, I didn't expect to see him kind of being there until they showed the trailer, rather. So that was kind of a different surprise, although in the film, Credence really doesn't do much. He's just there for a convenient plot device at the end, which I'll get to in a little bit. Now we've seen that Grindelwald was disguised in the first film, and now he's Johnny Depp instead of trying to pretend to be Colin Farrell, and he's in full force. He's totally evil. He's very charismatic. He's very drawing and stuff like that, and his mannerisms and his speaking. Zoe Kravitz as Lita Lestrange was interesting. I didn't think that they would do as little as they did with certain characters, and I just have to point that out there, like her, Credence, and then for some reason they felt the need to introduce Newt's brother, who is also part of the Ministry of Magic, which I thought forced a kind of a non-existent love triangle between him, Lita, and his brother. And I was just like, why are they doing this? What, you're removing the fun of the series so far, or the film that preceded it, by having to worry about these BS like love triangle crap and all this other stuff, when in reality we know Tina and Newt is where it's at. There's no kind of conflict or anything. Although I will say that her kind of having this inner conflict of whether she's a good character or a bad character was interesting, especially given her past and what she kind of did. We got to see Jude Law as a much, much younger Dumbledore, who is in fact a teacher, and he's the Defense Against the Dark Arts, which I think is pretty interesting. And actually, the way that he played the character was actually very nice, and I thought that Jude Law is a good counterpart to Dumbledore's character. And I can easily see this man becoming the aged and kind of grizzled and warm-hearted wizard that he is in the Harry Potter films and everything. Although it is funny to think that this guy who looks very chic and kind of contemporary with his fashion actually goes back to the robes and kind of the garb of a traditional wizard, especially with the hat and his glasses and all this stuff. And of course, you know, they have to allude to the whole family story of his where there's phoenixes involved and whatnot, which is a wink wink nudge nudge, which they did a lot of that apparently, because at different points my friend who is a total big Potterhead, Mitch, he was actually pointing a lot of stuff out, including Credence's love interest in this film, who was actually cursed to become a snake, and incidentally enough, her name, I forget what it is, but you'll tell me down in the comments, but she was actually the name and is a snake, just like Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort's favorite pet, which was a snake as well, which I thought was pretty cool also when I found that out. So those are kind of all the big things that I wanted to note, but again, going back to how this one compares to the first one, I felt like this one was really lacking in what made the first one so much fun, and like I said, I really find the Fantastic Beasts first film very much a nice fun time, because it does take a lot of stuff and actually put it on the screen for kind of a visual feast. In this one, they kind of downplayed things a lot. There was some great visuals, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the twists, the visuals, and kind of the direction of the story, even though there was a pretty unseen twist that came in there at the end, I thought this one was slightly below the last one's bar that it had set, but overall it's still a good film, and if you are a fan of the Wizarding World and Harry Potter in general, you know you're going to see it, and you should see it because it is a good time. Now, my main problem with this film was that there wasn't as much action in it. There wasn't as many Fantastic Beasts, like I was saying, and then this kind of twist that happened where Credence is actually alive, but he's searching for his real lineage. And then at the end, you find out after all is said and done that he is actually a brother of Dumbledore. And at that, I was just like, did they just pull this out of their ass? I mean, that plot device right there kind of felt like it was very much like last minute, and even him being in the movie really felt unnecessary because he really wasn't there except for like maybe the entire film, the entire 2 hours or so that the film was in there. He has 15 minutes to 20 minutes of screen time, and he really doesn't have a lot of dialogue, and he really doesn't do shit. So for him to really say that he's in the movie, or for Ezra Miller to really be in there and do press and everything, I really felt didn't really make sense for me personally. But that's my opinion. And I know this is a part 2, so there is kind of a lull. But I mean, we could have like delivered on a little bit of a fight between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, especially since in the film what happens is you kind of find the connection, and it's insinuated, of their kind of romantic relationship between Grindelwald and Dumbledore, that they've made a blood pact, so that means that they can't fight each other. But there's no real reason why they couldn't have gotten that blood pact to Dumbledore. He could have destroyed it with some type of thing, and then he could have gone full force and actually fought Grindelwald, at least in a warm-up fight, because we know he's going to fight him in the next film, and I'm interested to see how they handle this, because are they going to bring Johnny Depp back, especially with all the drama, like I said, off-screen, or are they going to recast? Honestly, guys, I'd like to separate the artist and the art form, because real life versus fantasy and story. definitely has no hold on each other, short of the other person hurting people, doing things which apparently, Johnny Depp has kind of a rumored dramatic lifestyle in doing so. But the thing is keep him on as Grindelwald, and I know there's kind of backlash between people who are fans of the things and kind of people who just don't like how Johnny Depp was treating certain people or acting in real life. But the thing is like, keep the consistency. It's one more film, and then he's gonna die or whatever happens. I mean, that's just something we see coming, and if that doesn't happen, then I don't know what the hell they can do. But yeah, overall, Fantastic Beasts 2. It brought it, it still had a lot going for it, just not as much as I would have hoped. But it was still a good time. I give it 3 out of 5 stars, and if you are a fan of the Wizarding World, definitely go and see it. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. If you're a little unsure about it, there's always a Tuesday matinee price that you can go and see it if you can find a theater for that. Don't go and see it in 3D. It's really unnecessary. But don't go in expecting that there's going to be a lot of different things going on with regards to developing characters, because we're not really developing too much. The only person we really develop, of course, again, is Newt Scamander, because he is the main dude, and Newt is still charming yet very dorky, which worked for him in the first film. Again, Eddie Redmayne, Jude Law, and the other supporting cast, and Johnny Depp especially, I thought turned out a great performance. So definitely go and watch it. If you guys have seen the film and you've made it this far in the spoilers, please let me know down below what you thought of it. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and if you are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. And as always, guys, I'm Jay. Take care. Bye.